it should be fun. So as Neil was saying, I was here last year, and I had just started a non-for-profit, and it was just starting out. And what I did, you know what? I'm going to just let her talk and tell you what I do. So I'm going to play the video again, because she'll tell you exactly what I do.
For 8 months now.
You just started over.
And my tablet is just getting too boring. That's why I like it when David comes in. He sits with me.
See what I mean? Like with the AV guys, like right there.
I'm 10, and I don't think I'll make my 11th birthday. I've been living in the hospital for 8 months now, and my tablet is just getting too boring. That's why I like it when David comes in. He sits with me, he talks with me, and he makes me laugh. But watching VR videos is definitely my favorite part. I get to escape and explore the world. Go to places I've always dreamed of. See things I'll never be able to see. Do things I probably never do. But most of all, it's my last chance of being a kid.
So what I do is I bring last wishes to patients in hospitals and hospices. So that's where I started, that's where I began, and now it's actually progressed. So it's no longer just people who are dying, it's now people who have had strokes. I'm dealing with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's. And so it just, what's happening is that I'm meeting with all these different patients, and every single one I talk to has a different need, and then I have to be able to fulfill that. I can't just leave something alone. And it's great because I'm actually following Richard. Richard has all these frame rates and all this technical stuff, and I'm the opposite. I'm just a guy that will actually go out and try to figure out how to do this, and I'll fake it, and I'll to get someone to feel like they're riding a bicycle, I'll give them handlebars and be able to do it that way. But to this point now, I've seen 287 patients. I've seen them in 8 hospitals, and it's something that's very, very much needed. And how I do it is if I can't find content online, I'll actually go out and film it myself. And if I can't find it myself, I'll reach out to the 360 camera community to ask if they can actually help me. And so some of the things that I'll be able to do is, if someone has always wanted to see the Great Wall of China, I'll be able to bring that to them. But it's not just, here's the Great Wall of China. It's, here's the ride to the airport. Here's the flight over. And I make it so it's an actual trip. And something for the developers out there, or not the developers, but the people who are actually creating content, what happens is that there's actually these little rituals that we do. And what we have to do is capture those things. So in that trip over to China, the rituals are handing over your passport to the agent. Walking through the airplane door, the portal there, that is a ritual that we are trying to find out what these little tiny rituals are so that you can actually make this thing as real as possible. So, it doesn't have to be these big, massive wishes. It doesn't have to be a big thing. What we did is we actually brought Halloween to the kids at a children's hospice. These kids, this is Stephanie, she's a little super girl. She has a congenital heart disease. She's never been trick-or-treating. And so we brought trick-or-treating to her. What we did is we went out and we filmed a street, and we had 40 kids running around, and this was before Halloween, and we had all the candy and all that kind of stuff, and we filmed it all. And then we brought that to the hospice. But again, the part of the rituals is dumping out all your candy, being able to do those things. And I mean, it was like to see these kids do something that they've never thought possible was magical. It was just the smile on these kids' faces is something that becomes addictive, and that's what you want to do. That's what you keep on wanting to come back to. But what was even more important and it blew me away was she was able to do this with her family. So that's something that she's very rarely able to do. She was actually able to enjoy the same time as her parents, and the other kids were able to do it with their siblings. And when you've got a wheelchair and you've got an oxygen tank, that's something that you just can't do. And we're now able to bring these families together, and they're able to do things that they've never, ever been able to do before. And when you look at the father, and the father is sitting there, and I've got 2 kids, and so I know exactly what this is like. When you see your kid, and they're happy, it's this magical thing, and all of a sudden the father's like both laughing and crying at the same time. And I'm a mess. Like I'm just like bawling, while this is all going on. So it doesn't have to be these big mass productions. It doesn't have to be. It can be. These kids just want to be normal, and I think that's the same thing with all the patients. All the patients, they just want to live a normal life. So whether they've had a stroke or Alzheimer's, they want to be able to just experience things, and that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to let them just experience something that they can no longer do. So now I'm going to tell you a couple of use cases. So this is Paula. I should let everyone know I don't have a mental background. Full disclosure, these patients have signed up, but a lot of them I'll actually change either their names or some information. But so this is Paula. Paula had a stroke, so she lost the right side of her body. She was an artist. She could no longer paint. Not only did she lose the ability to paint, she also lost her family. So when she became essentially disabled, her family felt it was too difficult and she complained too much, and so her family sort of ditched her. And so she went into a severe depression. She went into such a depression, she was actually put on suicide watch. I didn't know this when I was dealing with her. I don't get to see that type of information. It was just only afterwards when the doctor came to me and he said, "You must be ecstatic." And I'm like, I'm always ecstatic. I'm always like, why am I ecstatic this time? He's like, the patient on 4 North, she's joined the coffee club. She's now gardening. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. That's great. What's the deal? They talked to her and they wanted to know what was it that changed? And she's like, I got to see my dog every day. That's simple. I got to see my dog. Something that was, well, not a pretty dog, obviously. Like I didn't promise that, but it was that one thing that she was missing. She's missing, her family's missing. That's it. And I'd also gone out and started filming dog parks for her, just so that she could see what these things were like. And so, again, it's this thing that there's a problem. She can't see her dogs. I will go and do that for her. I will get her dogs. The next gentleman here. This is awesome. I want you to watch. So he's had a stroke. We've put him in. He's a skier. So all he wanted to do was ski. Right? His feet move. His feet are moving on their own. Now I'm not saying that his feet could move, but the benefit of what I was trying to show there was his feet were actually moving on their own. So he hated to do physiotherapy. Hated it. But when you have a stroke, the first 6 months are the most important time that you actually do your rehabilitation. You do your physio. You do all those types of things, because no matter what happens after that 6 months, you could dive into it as much as you want, but you will never get that first 6 months back. And so by me giving him a pair of, well, they were weights, but I told him they were ski poles, and he held them up for 2.5 minutes. He kept his form, and his feet started to move on their own. So again, when he first talked to the doctor, I want to ski. And the doctor's like, well, great, but we have to do all these things. Talk to the physiotherapist, I want to ski. Yes, can't do. All these things that we do in the healthcare, they're actually designed for an average, for a group of people. You can't treat a patient one-on-one. I can. We can. We can do that. So we can actually then give it so that patient is able to ski. That patient is able to fly. Found out that for little boys, they want to blow shit up. Go figure. But we can do that, and that's quite important. I also want to point out. So yes, we found out that there's no pain when they're in virtual reality. That's actually been something that has been proven quite a few different times. There's Berkeley and a bunch of schools in the States that are showing this time and time again. But what we found is that there's no actual methodology to VR. So we don't know if is it CGI or is it live? We don't know how they're actually being, are they sitting down, are they doing, a lot of the information is actually not there, so we have to get better at that. But the other thing we have to start doing, we gotta make things easier. So she, when we took the thing off, so she couldn't figure out how the elephants got inside the headset, so she kept on looking around and doing that. And so when we actually then took the thing off of her, she freaked. She screamed at the top of her lungs, and look at the smile. So it's like, okay, here. It's like I gave her the headset at the end of it. So the father was so happy, the mother was so happy they got this headset, they're gonna be able to do this every single day, fantastic. I've been back to their house twice because they can't figure out how to do it. It's not an easy thing to do. And the content, oh my God, is the content ever hard to find, right? So I've got an audience that actually wants to use this every day. What's the big problem with AR and VR right now is no one wants to use it every day. These guys do. They don't care about, frame rates. They don't care about all those things. They care about being normal. They care about just being distracted. The father cares that he sees that smile every day. That's what he cares about. And so that's what we have to start thinking about. So there's a simple solution for this. Autoplay. The person should be able to put on that headset, and it just auto-plays. It plays whatever has been determined, almost like a Flipboard thing. It's like, I like sports, I like nature, I like that, and it plays automatically. It downloads automatically. It has to be done automatically. And I've got, the patients I showed you before, they can't get the thing on their head. So they just need a volunteer to come in and put it on their head, and it plays automatically. Because then they can sit there and they can do it. They can take it off. So again, I've got an audience that wants to be able to do this, but we seem to complicate things all the time. But this is also not scalable. This is just me. I can't keep on going out and filming everything, though I'll try my hardest to do it. But what we're doing is we built a community. So when somebody wants to actually have a wish that I can't find or I can't fulfill, we've actually posted it up onto a community board, and we've attached it to the other side is the 360 VR community, the camera community. And what they're able to do is they're like, you know what? I'm in Australia. I can go get the Great Barrier Reefs. And they can do that. And they can go get it, and they can upload it, and they can fulfill it. We've had, in an hour, a wish fulfilled for somebody that didn't make it past the weekend. That's impressive. That's what can happen when we all do this stuff together. So, how can you help? The first one, as I said, make it simple. I've got a steering wheel so that when the gentleman, David, when he's actually driving the car, it looks like he's got my hands, my arms, he can see that, but then he feels that. So even though he's had a stroke, he feels as if it's him driving. And I never knew this before, and I see the damn cheesy automotive commercials. Driving for him is freedom. He remembers being 16 and being able to get out of a small town. Now for him, it's like, driving for him is getting out of that hospital room. So, but that steering wheel, it's not attached to anything. When he goes like this, the video doesn't actually turn like that. It's just the fact that it's there and he can do it. So it's super simple. So we need to make these things much, much simpler. We tend to complicate a lot of these things. I would love it if you guys could spread the word, right? So I would like to have it so that we can have this community, it's going to grow, and we need to be able to have the developers, the producers, all of us coming together and having a community that we can actually do something. And this is a movement where instead of them doing the social posts and social feeds and all that kind of stuff, let's do this instead of a social network, let's have this as a compassion network. Let's do it so that when we're posting something, it's actually meaningful. Donations. Donations is a neat one because I hate asking for money and I'm really bad at it. And my wife keeps telling me, please, can you do that? Because we need to have the money. But money's not everything. I'm not sure Frank's here. Frank last year told me, you gotta make it scalable, and you gotta make sure that somehow you can have a revenue stream coming in. made it scalable by doing the community. I made it scalable. The revenue stream, I kind of missed on that one. I didn't create a revenue stream. But you know what? I'm kind of glad I didn't, because if I made a revenue stream out of this, the creators of the content wouldn't want to donate because I'd have to then pay them. This is something where it's not a revenue stream. This is actually to do it. So when I ask for donations, I'm not asking just for money. We've got people that are willing to go through all the videos, but we don't have machines, we don't have computers to be able to let them actually edit the videos. We need to have cameras. So donations is also equipment, but it's also time. You guys all have a story. You guys all have you know what? I could probably think of somebody, whether it's a family member or whether it's a client, and you can say, my technology or what I'm doing could have helped in this way. And just even be able to share that, that means that anybody, anywhere could then do this. Donations also does mean money. I gotta be blunt, and I'm not good at it, but I'm actually quite excited about this one today, because we figured out something that's really kind of cool. So, you'll see I put it $500 there. So $500, the reason why it's actually quite specific why I did that, it's two 250s. For every $250 we get, we put a package together and we give it to a hospital. So we give this package to a hospital, and we know how to get through the back doors, getting volunteers, so we train their volunteers on how to do this, and so then now that hospital can start granting wishes. And the funny thing about that is, hospitals have no idea what to do with this. So after, I'll talk about that in a second. I think we're on an auto loop now. Okay. $250 we got these devices, created a package, we handed it off to the hospital. The hospital's like, yeah, no thank you. I'm like, what? It's free, here you go. What are you trying to sell? I'm like, no, nothing. Let's just give it to them. And they wouldn't do it. So I had to get another hospital to call this hospital to say, no, it's okay. They're not trying to just get it in there. We don't collect data. We don't actually have any nefarious means to sell it to you afterwards. And also that the infection controls have been done. So if you can, I'm going to see if I can get back. So I've created it for wishplay.ca immersed. So I'm asking you if you would mind donating, that would be great. Because I'm going to give it to two places. One's going to be Camp Ooch, which is a camp for cancer, kids with cancer, so that they can start to give wishes, and then the other one is going to be Home Bloorview. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to be bringing kids home for Christmas. Halloween, we actually brought Halloween to the kids. What we're going to do for Christmas is we're actually going to give cameras to the parents. And the parents are going to then be able to then do the decorating of the tree. They're going to be able to give out the presents. They're going to be able to do those things. And that means that we're going to be able to bring the kids home for Christmas. And so that's my magic. But we're also going to go film Santa Claus Parade. We're going to go film the Nutcracker. We're going to go film a whole bunch of other things so we can actually have this whole Christmas. But what we also then do is all the content that we get, we put it in the repository. So that means any kid anywhere in the world that wants to experience Christmas, as long as they've got a phone and a Google Cardboard, they can. So, one of the things that wasn't on that list was, and I think the Illuminati mentioned it yesterday, is that the other thing that you can have is like joy. We keep on, how I got involved in this is that everything was about happiness. We put happiness off. So once I get that job, or once I get that house, or once I get that, once I have that vacation, then we're going to. We need to live more in the moment. We have to have joy, and I think that we need to be able to do that together. We have to start living now, and we have to start thinking about other people, and we have to, really start delivering some joy. And so I'm really hoping that you guys can help me deliver joy. So thank you very much.